I think this anime doesn't need an introduction, so let's recap everything from Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1. The story begins with Yuji Itadori being captured and questioned by Satoru Gojo, a powerful sorcerer, about whether he or the curse inside him controls his body. A few days earlier, Yuji, a strong high schooler, spends time in the occult club and visits his dying grandfather. His grandfather tells him to use his strength to help others and not die alone, shaping Yuji's path. Meanwhile, a sorcerer, Megumi Fushiguro, searches Yuji's school for a cursed object, a finger of Ryomen Sukuna, the king of curses. He finds the seal broken. Megumi meets Yuji at the hospital. Yuji explains he gave the finger to his seniors. They rush back to the school. As the seal breaks, cursed energy attracts curses that attack the students. Megumi fights them with his divine dogs and Yuji joins. A stronger curse appears, overwhelming Megumi. Desperate, Yuji swallows Sukuna's finger. Sukuna awakens, destroys the curse, and laughs. Yuji regains control just as Megumi tries to exorcise him. Gojo arrives and tests Yuji by letting Sukuna take over for 10 seconds. Sukuna attacks, but Gojo dodges easily. When time ends, Yuji regains control. Gojo knocks him out, impressed. Back in the present, Gojo explains that as Sukuna's vessel, higher-ups want Yuji dead. He offers a deal. If Yuji eats all 20 fingers, he can delay execution, and Sukuna will die when Yuji dies. Remembering his grandfather, Yuji agrees. Gojo tests him with another finger, which Yuji swallows, suppressing Sukuna again. Yuji is taken to Tokyo Jujutsu High, where he meets the eccentric principal, Masamichi Yaga, who has moving cursed corpses. Yaga tests why Yuji wants to be a sorcerer. Yuji says it's for his grandfather, but Yaga attacks him with a cursed corpse. Yuji realizes his true reason. He is the only one who can contain Sukuna and must fight to protect others. Yaga accepts him. Later, Yuji meets Nobara Kugisaki, a confident and sharp girl. Gojo assigns them their first mission: exorcise curses in an abandoned Roppongi building. Yuji uses the slaughter demon. Nobara has her hammer and nails. They split up. Yuji kills his first curse, and Nobara defeats another using her straw doll technique. A stronger curse takes a boy hostage. Nobara freezes, but Yuji cuts the curse's arm and saves the boy. Nobara finishes it using resonance. A flashback shows Nobara's friend Saori was shunned in their village for being from Tokyo. The next day, Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara go to a juvenile detention center where a powerful cursed womb appears. Ujichi warns them, if it's special grade, they must run. Inside, the building twists into a cursed dimension. They find mutilated bodies. Yuji and Megumi argue over saving one. The ground collapses, separating Nobara. Megumi freezes as his divine dog is killed. The special grade appears, fueled by Sukuna's finger. Yuji attacks but is overwhelmed, losing his left hand. He asks Sukuna for help, but Sukuna mocks him. Realizing they can't win, Yuji tells Megumi to escape with Nobara and signal once they're safe. Then, Yuji lets Sukuna take over. Meanwhile, Nobara fights swarms of smaller curses until Megumi rescues her. Yuji, badly beaten, lets Sukuna take control. Sukuna heals him and destroys the special grade with domain expansion. Sukuna takes a finger and waits for Yuji to regain control, but Yuji cannot. Sukuna grins, leaving Yuji's fate uncertain. Outside, Sukuna confronts Megumi, tearing out Yuji's heart in case he returns, and eats another finger. He attacks Megumi, who remembers his sister Sumiki. Suddenly, Yuji regains control, mortally wounded. He asks about Gojo and Nobara, then collapses and dies. At Jujutsu High, Gojo is furious that Yuji was sent on a suicide mission, and Shoko prepares to examine Yuji's body. Meanwhile, Megumi and Nobara meet second years Maki, Toge, and Panda, who invite them to the Kyoto Sister School Goodwill event. Meanwhile, a mysterious sorcerer who looks like Geto and curses plot to eliminate Gojo and overthrow humanity. Inside Yuji, Sukuna offers a deal. He'll revive Yuji if allowed 1 minute of control. Yuji refuses and challenges Sukuna. If he wins, Sukuna must revive him. If Sukuna wins, he can take control for a minute. Sukuna wins, beheads Yuji, and secretly seals the contract so Yuji won't remember. In the real world, Gojo plans to reform the corrupt Jujutsu system. Just as Shoko wants to begin the autopsy, Yuji wakes fully healed. Gojo starts training him secretly. Megumi starts training with the second years, improving his combat skills and focus, combining shadow techniques with weapons. Gojo teaches Yuji cursed energy basics, using emotional endurance and a cursed doll for practice. Later, Gojo is ambushed by Jogo, a volcano-headed curse. Jogo attacks with magma, but Gojo, using infinity, defeats him. Gojo demonstrates this to Yuji, provoking Jogo's domain expansion. Gojo reveals his 6 eyes, activates Unlimited Void, paralyzes Jogo, and decapitates him. Before interrogation, Hanami rescues Jogo's head. Gojo notes the teamwork and warns stronger enemies are coming. At a secret hideout, new enemies plan to trap Gojo on October 31st in Shibuya. At Jujutsu High, Megumi and Nobara meet Aoi Todo and Mai Zenin. Mai mocks Yuji's death, and Todo tests Megumi by asking what kind of girl he likes. Megumi says, "A woman his heart feels is right." Todo says it's boring, gets angry, and attacks, overwhelming him. Nobara tries to help, but Mai blocks her and fires cursed bullets. Toge freezes Todo with cursed speech, and Panda knocks him back, and Maki fights Mai. After harsh words, Todo and Mai leave. Todo came only to see Todo's favorite idol, Takada-chan. Elsewhere, Gojo meets Kyoto's principal Gakuganji, accusing him of planning Yuji's death and warning that a new generation of strong sorcerers is coming. A month later, Junpei, a quiet, bullied student, skips class to watch a movie. His bullies show up, but Mahito appears and kills them by twisting their bodies. Junpei, curious, follows Mahito and asks to learn his power. Yuji and Nanami arrive to study the theater deaths. Nanami teaches Yuji to sense cursed energy. They fight two curses on a rooftop. Nanami uses his ratio technique, Yuji his divergent fist. Nanami finds a watch on a curse, proving it was human. Shoko later confirms it, shaking Yuji. Nanami concludes a strong curse is turning humans into monsters. He sends Yuji near Junpei's home while he hunts Mahito. In the sewers, Mahito corrupts Junpei, explaining that curses come from human fear. A quick flashback shows Junpei being bullied. Mahito teaches him about the soul and shows idol transfiguration, twisting bodies by reshaping souls. Next day, Yuji and Ijichi test if Junpei can see curses by releasing a low-grade spirit near him at him. Junpei almost attacks his teacher, but Yuji distracts him by pulling the teacher's pants down and drags the teacher away. Yuji goes back to Junpei and they walk together afterward. Nanami finds Mahito. They begin fight. Nanami cuts Mahito's arm, but Mahito reshapes himself and forces Nanami to fight transformed humans. Nanami realizes the victims are conscious. Mahito tries to touch Nanami's soul, but Nanami blocks it. After 6 p.m., Nanami enters overtime, boosts his power with his binding vow, and uses collapse to destroy the tunnel, injuring Mahito. He reports Mahito is young, but very dangerous. Yuji investigates and grows close to Junpei. Junpei lies about the theater, but warms up to Yuji over horror movies. Junpei's mother invites Yuji for dinner. Junpei asks Yuji what he would do if he had to kill. Yuji says he wants to avoid it, giving Junpei hope. That night, Junpei's mother is killed after Mahito's group places one of Sukuna's fingers in their home, attracting a curse. Grief-stricken, Junpei is easily manipulated by Mahito, who tells him his bullies were responsible. Fueled by anger, Junpei accepts Mahito's power. They traps the school with a curtain. Junpei attacks his bully. As he's about to kill him, Yuji bursts in. Yuji tries to calm Junpei, but Junpei attacks with poisonous Shikigami. Yuji fights without killing, hitting Junpei out a window. Junpei reveals the truth about his mother. Yuji promises to help and invites him to Jujutsu High. Junpei hesitates, moved. Mahito appears, mocks them, and touches Junpei, twisting his soul. Junpei dies in Yuji's arms. Yuji begs Sukuna to save him, but Sukuna laughs with Mahito. Enraged, Yuji fights Mahito and injures his soul. Mahito touches Yuji, but Sukuna inside Yuji warns him not to touch his soul again. The fight continues until Nanami arrives and blocks Mahito. Together, Yuji and Nanami fight. Mahito uses domain expansion, trapping Nanami, but Yuji forces his way in. Mahito's soul enters Sukuna's domain. Sukuna slashes it and warns him never to touch him or Megumi again. The domain breaks and Mahito escapes. Nanami thanks Yuji. Yuji is haunted by killing transfigured humans and failing Junpei. Nanami says sorcerers must protect people anyway and calls Yuji a true sorcerer. Mahito, injured, hides in the sewers, vowing to grow stronger. Yuji returns to Jujutsu High, determined never to lose again. Later, the curses meet, planning to collect all Sukuna's fingers and use Yuji to revive the King of Curses. They aim to steal 6 fingers stored in Jujutsu High, but Gojo is their biggest obstacle. At Tokyo Jujutsu High, Gojo and Nanami discuss Yuji's return. Nanami fears showing him will make him a target again, but Gojo wants a flashy reveal. Meanwhile, Kyoto students arrive for the sister school exchange event, and tension rises. Gojo arrives late, dramatically showing Yuji alive in a souvenir cart. Yuji expects a warm reunion, but the others are shocked. Nobara and Megumi scold him, but are relieved. Kyoto's principal Gakuganji is furious. Principal Yaga explains the event rules, a cursed spirit exorcism race. Secretly, Gakuganji orders his students to kill Yuji. Most agree except Miwa hesitates and Todo refuses. Gojo warns Utahame about a possible mole working with curses. Back at Tokyo High, Yuji meets his team. They plan to use his power while Megumi quietly asks if Yuji is ready. Yuji, hardened by past failures, says he won't hesitate again. The event begins. The Tokyo team splits to find the target, while Megumi and Maki prepare to hold off Kyoto students. Yuji acts as bait, waiting for Todo. Todo appears and fights Yuji with overwhelming strength. In the fight, he asks Yuji's name and the type of woman he likes. Yuji says, a tall woman with a big ass, like Jennifer Lawrence. Todo instantly imagines they are best friends and calls Yuji his brother. Their fight becomes a lesson. Todo explains why Yuji's divergent fist is weak, and teaches him to let cursed energy flow naturally. Yuji focuses and improves. Todo proudly calls him his best friend. Meanwhile, Panda fights Mekamaru in the forest. Mekamaru ambushes him, but Panda tricks him, revealing he has 3 inner cores. They fight intensely. Mekamaru fires his ultimate cannon, forcing Panda to use gorilla mode. With drum beat, Panda destroys Mekamaru's puppet head. Panda comforts Kokichi, who asks if Panda would still accept him. Panda replies, "I'm a panda." At the same time, Maki fights Miwa and easily overwhelms her. Miwa uses simple domain, but Maki breaks her spear, distracts her, and takes her sword. Meanwhile, Nobara chases Momo, who attacks from above with wind. Momo explains the pressure female sorcerers face, but Nobara rejects it, saying women can be strong and beautiful as they choose. She uses hairpin and resonance to knock Momo out, then lightly taps her with a toy hammer. Mai suddenly shoots Nobara, but Maki appears, starting a fight between the Zenin twins. Flashbacks show Mai had cursed energy but feared spirits, while Maki, born without cursed energy, was fearless. When Maki left the clan, Mai stayed behind and became bitter. In the present, Mai creates a final bullet with her construction technique, but Maki catches it barehanded. Mai cries, blaming Maki for leaving. Maki apologizes but stands by her choice. Elsewhere, Hanami appears and chases Toge. Megumi and Noritoshi duel in a dark building. Noritoshi fires cursed arrows that bend mid-air. Megumi dodges and his toad Shikigami catches some. Breaking one arrow shows its deadly power. Noritoshi demands another Shikigami, but Divine Dog isn't available. Noritoshi switches to close combat. Megumi struggles but fights for his own ideals. He summons a toad to distract Noritoshi, then calls Max Elephant, flooding the hall and forcing Noritoshi outside. He summons Nue, amplified by water, but Noritoshi traps it with blood technique. Suddenly, huge branches burst in. Toge shouts, "Run!" with cursed speech, saving them from Hanami's first strike. In the control room, they notice something is wrong and rush to the scene. A new curtain blocks Gojo, but others can still enter. Gakuganji confronts Juzo. Meanwhile, Megumi, Toge, and Noritoshi face Hanami. Hanami says her mission is to cleanse the earth of humans. They attack, but Hanami's power is overwhelming. Toge's throat bleeds, and with a final shout of "Blast away!" he pushes Hanami back and collapses. Maki joins, using the cursed tool, Playful Cloud. They fight together, but Hanami overwhelms them and plants cursed buds. Just before they fall, Todo and Yuji arrive. Todo tells Yuji to perform Black Flash. Yuji fails at first, but Todo slaps him and tells him to focus. Yuji calms down and lands his first Black Flash, breaking Hanami's defenses. Todo joyfully calls him his best friend, and they fight in perfect sync. Hanami releases full power, preparing a domain. At the same time, Haruta faces Utahime, but Nobara and Mai arrive, and the anti-Gojo veil falls, forcing Haruta to flee. Gojo defeated Juso. Todo tells Yuji not to move. Seeing the situation, Gojo fires Hollow Purple, destroying everything in its path. Meanwhile, Mahito and Geto complete their real mission, stealing 6 of Sukuna's fingers and 3 death-painting wombs. After the battle, Hanami and Haruta retreat. Hanami collapses from Gojo's attack, but Mahito saves her. At Tokyo High, Ijichi reports the theft. Gakuganji still wants Yuji executed, but Yaga defends him. To lift spirits, Gojo replaces the second day of the event with a baseball match. The story shifts to a man killed at his door by a curse, the third in a series of strange deaths linked to the same middle school. Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara investigate, guided by Akari Nita. At the school, 2 delinquents recognize Megumi, revealing he was once a feared troublemaker. They find a clue. All victims took part in a test of courage under Yasuhachi Bridge. Fujinuma, a witness, says Megumi's sister Sumiki was there and is now in a coma. Megumi wants to handle it alone, but Yuji and Nobara insist on helping. The trio crosses the stream under the bridge, entering the domain of the Yasuhachi Bridge Curse. They face 2 threats, the Bridge Curse and a new cursed womb, death painting named Eso. Yuji fights Eso while Megumi and Nobara fight the Bridge Curse. Inside the domain, Nobara is pulled away and fights Kachisu. Yuji chases after them, leaving Megumi alone. A special grade curse appears, overwhelms Megumi. Remembering Gojo's lesson and thinking of his sister, Megumi unleashes an incomplete domain expansion, summoning Shikigami, including Divine Dog, Totality. He defeats the special grade and retrieves the Sukuna finger, but collapses from exhaustion after a brief flashback. Yuji and Nobara then face the Death Painting brothers in a brutal battle. Kachizu sprays corrosive blood, and Iso's rot technique marks them, starting to decay their bodies. Nobara uses resonance, linking herself to the brothers to reflect their pain. Yuji, immune to poison, hits Kachizu with strong blows. Nobara lands a hairpin strike to finish Kachizu. Together they chase and defeat Iso. Choso, the third Death Painting brother, senses their deaths and vows revenge. Yuji struggles with guilt over killing partly human curses, but Nobara reminds him that sorcerers must act to save lives. They find Megumi unconscious but alive with the Sukuna finger. When Yuji holds it, a mouth appears on his hand and swallows it. The season ends with Gojo and the faculty recommending Yuji, Megumi, Nobara, Maki, and Panda for promotion to Grade 1 sorcerers. If you want more recaps like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what anime you want to see next.